It was an evening like any other. The streets of Newham in East London were alive with the quiet rhythm of a November night. For 26-year-old Ansalam Sinaj, a passenger in a taxi, it was just a simple journey. He was moments away from his destination, unaware that his every move was being watched, that he had been followed and targeted. The sudden ambush shattered not only the taxi's window, but also the illusion of safety we all take for granted. This was a crime so brutal and so swift, it could only have been meticulously planned. In a coordinated and terrifying move, 3 of the men, wearing masks and gloves, descended on the helpless vehicle. The air filled with the sound of breaking glass as they smashed the window, launching their attack. The victim, trapped in his seat, was subjected to a cold and merciless assault. One of the men, with a shocking lack of humanity, plunged a knife into Ansalam's chest. But the true horror of this crime lies not just in its execution, but in its motive. It was a murder over a drug dispute, a high-stakes disagreement that ended in a fatal, final solution. But the story of those responsible reveals an even darker reality. It would expose one of the attackers as a man already convicted of a separate, equally brutal killing, the murder of a 15-year-old girl. Ansalam Sinaj, at the age of 26, was the man whose life was tragically extinguished on that night. While his personal life remains largely out of the public eye, court proceedings provided a crucial, though partial, glimpse into his world. The jury was told that Ansalam was involved in drug dealing, a dangerous and unforgiving world where disputes can quickly escalate from financial disagreements to acts of extreme violence. Evidence of his involvement, including messages on his phone and drugs found after the attack, cemented this as the primary motive. In the moments before the ambush, Ansalam's recognition of the incoming vehicle and his desperate warning to the taxi driver revealed a man who understood the perilous nature of his life and had a chilling premonition of his fate. The orchestrators of this vicious plot were 4 men, bound together by a criminal enterprise. The ringleader was Muhammad Saqib Khan, a 24-year-old drug dealer from Enfield, who was identified as the one who delivered the fatal blow. His was a leading role, driven by an unknown grievance that culminated in this violent act. His co-conspirator, Mohammed Samuel Mia from Manor Park, was also an attacker. Mia's history, as revealed in court, painted an extremely disturbing picture. He was separately convicted of the brutal murder of a 15-year-old girl, an attack that saw her punched unconscious and killed in a North London park. This fact alone suggested a man with a chilling capacity for violence, and his actions in the attack on Ansalam were part of a terrifying pattern. The other 2, Zain Ali and Ibrahim Naim, both from East Ham, completed the group. Ali was one of the attackers, and Naim was the getaway driver. This was not a group of strangers. They were a coordinated, methodical unit with a shared, ruthless purpose. The ambush was executed with a horrifying efficiency. The silver Mitsubishi, driven by Ibrahim Naim, deliberately blocked the taxi in a narrow street, giving Ansalam no avenue of escape. The 3 attackers, Khan, Mia, and Ali, descended upon the vehicle. According to the court, the knives they carried were up to 2 feet in length, weapons designed not just to intimidate, but to kill. The attack lasted seconds, but the impact was final. One of the men plunged the blade into Ansalam's chest, a single, decisive act that ended his life. The attackers then swiftly retreated to their car and disappeared into the night, leaving the taxi driver to face the grim aftermath alone. Despite the rapid arrival of emergency services, Ansalam was declared dead at the scene. The investigation, led by Scotland Yard's Detective Sergeant Brett Hagan, began immediately. The most crucial piece of evidence in the initial hours was the stolen Mitsubishi, which was found burnt out the next day. This act of arson, a brazen attempt to destroy any trace of DNA or fingerprints, ironically became a powerful piece of evidence confirming the premeditated nature of the crime. Police worked tirelessly, sifting through CCTV footage and following every lead. Their relentless efforts led to the arrest of Mia, Ali, and Naeem within 2 weeks. But the prime suspect, Mohammed Saqib Khan, had fled. The international manhunt was on. Police tracked him to Amsterdam, and through close collaboration with international law enforcement agencies, they were able to secure his extradition back to the UK the following January. The full group of assailants was now in custody, ready to face justice for the cold-blooded killing. The trial for the murder of Anselm Sinaj unfolded at the historic Old Bailey. The prosecution laid out a powerful and damning case connecting the dots between the drug dispute, the premeditated ambush, and the ruthless efficiency of the killing. The jury heard how the attack was not a chaotic street fight, but a planned, targeted assassination. Evidence, from phone records and forensic reports to the chilling testimony of the taxi driver, left little doubt as to the events of that night. The trial became a painstaking journey through a web of criminal connections and violent intent. The jury delivered their verdicts. Mohammed Saqib Khan, the instigator, was found guilty of murder and having a blade. He was sentenced to life with a minimum term of 26 years. His leading role in the crime resulted in the longest sentence. Mohammed Samuel Mia was also found guilty of murder and sentenced to a minimum of 25 years. This term reflected not only his part in Anselam's death, but also his separate conviction for the brutal murder of a 15-year-old girl, a detail the judge deemed extremely disturbing. Zain Ali and Ibrahim Naeem were acquitted of murder, but convicted of the lesser charge of manslaughter. Ali was sentenced to 14 years, and Naeem to 10 years and 6 months. The legal proceedings brought an official end to the case, but for Anselam's family, the pain was a sentence of its own. At the sentencing hearing, the human cost of the crime was laid bare. Anselam's cousin, Elra Sinaj, delivered a powerful and emotional victim impact statement. She confronted the killers, calling them cowards and little boys who needed numbers and weapons to carry out your task. Her words articulated the senselessness of the act, an attack where the odds were overwhelmingly stacked against the victim. The judge, in her final statement, described the act as callous and shocking, confirming that it was a premeditated act. Detective Sergeant Hagen concluded the police's part, expressing his hope that the convictions would provide some solace to Anselam's loved ones. The murder of Anselm Sinaj was a brief, violent flash in the night, but its consequences will last a lifetime for all involved. It was a tragedy born from the high-stakes world of crime, a reminder that disputes in that world can be resolved with lethal force. The killers are now behind bars, but the emotional scars on Anselam's family will never fully heal. The case, now closed, serves as a testament to the fact that even in a city of millions, a single act of violence can leave an unforgettable mark. If you enjoyed listening to this true crime documentary, make sure to subscribe to our channel. There is always another case to be uncovered.